Back and to our topic of the day and the tourism sector. But let me not just speak with the repercussions Egypt have been taking or the measures that Egypt have been taking during the past periods. Let me take it as a global crisis. Let me first welcome our distinguished guest, Mr. Ahmed, Badr, tourism expert. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening to you and to all the audience.
Thank you so much. And let me take it from your perspective. It's a global pandemic. It's a global threat. The tourism sector has not been hit just in Egypt, but rather worldwide. How do you view this particular issue and how the world dealt with it so far?
Well, as you said, this is something hit the world as we never witnessed before. Even with the pandemics that the world had before, like the Spanish flu back in 1918 or through 1920, at that time the world was not as a global village as it is now. So definitely the travel was not as now, the trade was not as now, everything was not as now. Now it's a global village by all means. It's here you can just sit and talk with video calls to the end of the world, any time of the day, to anywhere. Anything that is happening anywhere, it's affecting everywhere. So definitely this pandemic came and hit the world extremely hard, especially tourism business, because of course with all the lockdown that all the countries have done and are doing again right now, that left people scared to travel. Of course, they are scared to travel because of the disease itself, because of getting the virus themselves. And even if the people, or some of the people, are not that scared, or they think it's not as dangerous, still they are afraid of traveling and cannot go back home. They're scared if they travel outside of their countries will be closed, so they will be stuck outside, which is definitely the worst thing can happen
To anybody.
Of course, yes. And we witnessed during the first wave when the Egyptians outside
were stranded out abroad, yes, in some of the countries.
There was this great plan from the Egyptian government to bring back all the Egyptians stuck outside who want to come back, and without paying anything, which was of course a great thing to do, and something we all should be thanked for the Egyptian government, because I don't think that any other country did the same. So if we're talking numbers, just to get the audience part of the picture, it was estimated the travel business worldwide lost almost $1.5 trillion, more or less, about 1.5 to 2 trillion dollars, almost 500 billion of them just to the airlines industry, causing some of the airlines in a big struggle, causing to put aside the big airplanes like the 747 and the A380. Some of the companies already started to put them aside and not using them anymore, because of course the numbers traveling is not cost efficient for such aircrafts. In Egypt, of course, we are part of the world. From last April, or around end of March when the lockdown started. Of course, we are Alexander the Great. This would be a
In
huge
Alexandria, right?
hit. Yes, I think he is buried here in Alexandria. So many people said
Yes,
so.
so I've heard. Before we move on with our discussion, let's take this report and we'll come back.